noon, we'll be starting. I'm John Muscaderi, Scientific Director of TBN, and online from TBN we have Jeremy Boers. I think Carol is with us, and Perry is also with us, right?
Yes, we are.
Yep.
Hello, everyone.
Great, thank you. Hello. Online, maybe actually we can do a quick set of introductions for everybody that's online. Maybe when I call out your name, maybe you can just give us a bit of who you are and where you're coming from. And I can only see some of the names. So A. Costa.
Hi, my name is Andrew Costa. I'm assistant professor in clinical epidemiology and biostatistics at McMaster University.
Great, thank you for joining us. Bev Lawson.
Hi there. I'm at Dalhousie University, Dalhousie Family Medicine. I'm the Senior Research Associate, and I'm working on projects with Fred Burge.
Great, thank you. Bridget Davidson.
Yes, I'm Bridget Davidson, Executive Director of the Canadian Malnutrition Task Force, and I'll be working with Heather Keller on the next phase of this mission.
Great, thank you. Fred Burge.
Hi all. I'm in the Department of Family Medicine at Dalhousie University and Director of a local primary care research unit there. Thanks.
Great. George Heckman.
Hi, I'm a geriatrician, and I'm at the University of Waterloo working with Dr. Hurdes and Dr. Costa.
Great, thank you. Heather Keller.
Hi, I'm Heather Keller, University of Waterloo, and I'm heading up the project for the CMTF.
Great, thank you. John Hurdes.
Hi, John Hurdes here. I'm a professor in the School of Public Health and Health Systems at the University of Waterloo.
Great, thank you. And Romain Regal.
Hi, I'm Roman Regal. I'm Director of Quality of Care. I'm working along with Paul Hebert at the CHUM in Montreal.
Great, thank you. And Val?
Val, yes, hi. Val Dirac. I'm Associate Director of Data Collaborative and Assistant Professor, University of Toronto.
Great, thank you. And I think we had Paul Hebert also. May have been cut off, so maybe you'll join us.
Sorry, I was on mute, John. My apologies.
Okay.
So I'm the head of medicine at the University of Montreal and a researcher at the CHUM, Centre Hospitalier de Montréal, and the chair of the Canadian Critical Care Trials Group. Romain is working with me on this project.
Great. So thank you to everybody. Is there anybody that I did not get?
Oh, Adam Rahman.
Oh, hi, Adam. Sorry.
Oh, no worries. I'm a clinician researcher at Western University and the practice gastroenterology, clinical nutrition, and critical care medicine.
Great. Thank you.
There's also Denise Kluche, a health geographer at the University of Victoria and the Center on Aging, and Kim Nurenberger, my project coordinator.
Okay, great. Thank you. I'm not sure why your names didn't come up on my screen, but that's great. Thank you for joining us. Anybody else that's online that I didn't get? Okay, great. So thank you for coming online today and specifically on short notice, but I wanted to discuss the Strategic Impact Grant process and answer any questions that you have. If you want to put yourselves on mute, and that tends to minimize the amount of noise during the conference, and then I can open it up at the end. And you can either write your questions on the webinar or just ask them at the end of the presentation. So what I want to cover today is I just want to go over a brief overview of TBN. Many of you are very familiar with TBN. Some may not be as much. Just want to go through our research priorities of programs. I want to go over the strategic impact grants, the intent and the process, and then answer any questions and answers that there are. We're going to record this and post this online, so it'll be available in the next couple of days on our website. So TBN, as you may know, was funded by the Networks of Centers of Excellence program. Our funding started in 2012 and goes to 2017. We have a renewal application that's due June 11th, 2016, and I'll speak more about this and how these grants specifically tie in to the renewal application in a little while. And our mission is to improve the care of the seriously ill, frail elderly and support their families and caregivers. So we're going to do this through the development of rigorous evaluation and ethical implementation of healthcare technologies. And we're interested in technologies in the broadest sense. So these could include medications, devices, knowledge products, improvement strategy, or an improvement tool, or a knowledge translation or knowledge mobilization tool, and they can be used for the diagnosis, treatment, or palliation of the seriously ill, frail elderly. Our scope is older Canadians with significant life-limiting illness. You'll notice that I don't put a specific age on older. And specifically, there's a question of what technology to apply, and as I said before, technology in its broadest sense, and that's to either improve their survival and quality of life, or to improve the quality of their death, including end-of-life care. And we're interested in improved outcomes at both the patient and system levels. We're focused on all, and we're interested in all settings of care, and we're interested in a patient-centric model of care, which includes families and informal caregivers. Our activities, there's 4 activities that we're concentrated on. So their research, or the knowledge creation, knowledge mobilization, which is synthesis, translation, and dissemination. We're engaged in training of highly qualified personnel and networking and partnerships. Although we spend about half of the money on research calls, actually more than about 60% of our money on research calls, the NCE views all of our 4 core activities, which are research, knowledge mobilization, training of HQP, networking, and partnerships, as equally important. So we need to be, from a network point of view, we need to be successful in all these areas. And the current strategic impact grants attempt to address multiple components in this regard. So when we structure our research calls, it's this sort of thing which drives how we structure them, particularly the strategic impact grants that we're talking about today. And our 4 research themes are, and specifically as they focus on the seriously ill, frail elderly, are listed on this. So they're improving end-of-life care and advanced care planning, improving acute and critical care, optimizing community and residential care, and optimizing transitions of care. So they're fairly broad, but they're aimed to specifically start to catalyze how we think of different components, and right now they're all equally important. I should say that as we narrow our focus in the future, these may get more and more narrow depending on which areas have the most promising results, or we can make the biggest impact. But right now they are equally important. And for the strategic impact grants that we currently have funded, or that we currently are embarking on, we funded at least one from, or we've selected one project lead from each of these areas, plus additional project leads based on their impact. So these are our research programs. There's a core research program. a Catalyst Grant Program, a Knowledge Synthesis Grant Program, a Health Technology Innovation Grant Program, and the Strategic Impact Grant Program that we're discussing today. And this is specifically formulated to leverage new partnerships, address research in emerging strategic areas, or have a high potential for impacting policy, practice or commercialization. These are grants up to 2 years in duration, and this is the 2014 call that you're all online for. So these are non-traditional, they're highly collaborative, it leverages partnerships, and for that reason we feel that they're going to have a greater impact and also be immediately in line with our mission. There's a fair amount of noise on the line. Can I ask everybody to mute their microphones? Okay, great. Thank you. So the strategic impact grants, once the full proposal is formulated and you all submitted expressions of interest, the full proposal must include the evaluation of patient-centered, either one or more of either patient-centered outcomes, patient-family satisfaction, or health economic outcomes. And particularly we're interested in effectiveness research, or how things work in a real-world environment, as opposed to efficacy, which are studies which are much more narrower in scope. As a good example, frail elderly patients, who are our main core of interest, who may have multiple comorbidities, are typically excluded from a lot of research studies. So and obviously they need to be the focus of any proposal that comes forward. So as I said before, the strategic impact process is designed to be collaborative. It aims to bring groups of researchers, partners, stakeholders, decision makers together. And I just want to go over in the next little while how it will work and what your responsibilities as project leads are. So we selected a project lead from the submitted expressions of interest, and the project leads were selected based on their previous work, their CVs, the potential impact of the proposal, and the fit within TBN strategic priorities. It was a very short application, only 500 words, so we just wanted a broad outline of what you could be potentially working on. Just to say that in the past, when we run strategic impact grants, how they've actually changed, from what was submitted originally to the full proposal changed dramatically, or changed widely in scope once you get the input of multiple of other partners. So once we select the project lead, they're going to be partnered with, or we're going to suggest other PIs or on expressions of interest with similar research proposals, or that are similarly aligned, or that propose that you work on similar areas. And since there tends to be a fair amount of overlap and people, and the purpose of this is to catalyze people working in similar areas in different institutions that may never have collaborated before. We'll also suggest that you work with investigators on previously funded proposals that we funded, such that they can fit within the context of our research programs. The project leads and the people on the line today are expected to broadly build teams that are composed of other PIs or from other EOIs, or people that we've identified or you've identified. They also should include partners, stakeholders, decision makers, and other people that may be identified by yourselves or TBN. So for example, in our last round, we had an EOI on appropriate medications, prescription, and the seriously ill. For elderly, to that we brought in the Canadian Patient Safety Institute, the Institute of Safe Medication Practices, in addition to other partners that were identified with us or the project leads. We'll support the process in any way possible by in a variety of ways, and I'll talk about that in a minute. And they're also, as part of the strategic impact grants, will support a protocol development meeting if it's desired or necessary, and I expect that it will be necessary. Now, these could be virtual or online, and we could support through webinars, but you will likely need a face-to-face meeting to develop the full protocol. So the full protocol, the protocol development meeting, the face-to-face meeting, that we're committed to funding that. It's to be arranged by the project lead. The teams are going to include the investigators, stakeholders, as I said before, and the aim is to advance the development of a full proposal. So it's not the only day that you would work on development of a full proposal, but it's part of a process to build the full proposal, a consultation with everybody. And I expect that the EOIs or things that you're going to be working on will dramatically change as you bring more partners into the whole process. So we want to emphasize collaboration. This is through an integrated knowledge translation process by which stakeholders and knowledge user actually have input into development of proposals and protocols. As part of this, we would like, as project leads, we would ask that you start to work on a proposal on the date of the protocol development meeting, and let us know of the participants as soon as possible, and we'll also suggest some people that should be there. So just the way that this is how the project leads were selected, competitive process. We selected 8 expressions of interest out of 32, so about 25% success rate. Once the full proposals are developed and submitted to TBN, they're going to undergo external review, reviewed by our scientific review committee and by the research management committee, and we expect that we will fund 4 to 8 of the proposals submitted for full funding. There may be additional funding for 1 more, maybe 5, depends on some of the other things that we have going on. So the final project summary, which includes just an abstract, but includes all the investigators such that we can start getting external reviewers, is due January 19th. And the complete application includes the full proposal, is due February 20th of 2015. And the notification of award is going to be in April of 2015. So some tips for successful proposals. So although we can fund at least 4 proposals and maybe more, there's no obligation to fund them if they do not meet the following. And we're pretty strict that they have to meet all these things in order for us to receive funding from TBN. So first of all, they have to have scientific excellence. They have to have a potential to have a significant impact on improved care in the target population. They have to include patient-centered outcomes. So in the past, we've turned down proposals that did not have patient-centered outcomes as their primary outcome. They have to have strong networking and partnerships. They can't just be in one province. They can't just be in one area. We expect partnerships that are cross-provincial, multi-institutional, multidisciplinary. They must involve knowledge users, including patients and families, and they have to have HQP or trainees involved and as an integral part of the team. And the trainees are also going to be expected to participate in our fellowship training program. and ultimately they must fit within TBN's missions and goals, although I expect that being through this process, they will fit through that. But if there's a radical departure to something that we're not interested in, or that TBN is not a priority of TBN, so for example, studying healthy aging, we wouldn't be interested in that. So they have to meet all these criteria for us to fund them. And as I said before, the TBN renewal is in the spring of 2016, not 2106. Yeah, I wish it was that far away. And as part of the potential is that proposals that are developed through this process that have transformative potential, that they be incorporated into our renewal process for much larger amounts of funding. These are proposals that are scalable, that are high impact, and whose implementation is going well up until the spring of 2016, such that the concept is that these could be reconsidered if the right proposal that's scalable, that's the implementation is going well, as sort of the pilot study that's rolled into the main trial. So if your proposal was going well and that's going and the implementation is going well, I know you won't have results, but in the spring of 2016, and then they could be potentially put into the full proposal for large-scale funding that would be catalyzed on the transformative potential of the research projects. So we have $2.5 million funding for 4 projects of 18 to 24 months in length. These projects, as I said before, we're reevaluating our budget. There may be a bit more money available for this, but we won't know for the next couple of months as our budget is being reevaluated. And all projects are expected to bring in 25% funding in kind or in cash. So that's basically the overview of the whole process. So if you want to mute yourselves, and if there are any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. And so going forward, also, if you have any questions, my email is there. I'm quite easy to get a hold of, and also people at the TBN Administrative Center are quite happy to answer any questions going forward. This will be a very highly collaborative process. It's a very different process than other research grants. So I'll open it up to questions, to any questions that anybody has.
Yeah, John, it's John Hurdy's here. Question about patient-centered outcomes. I wonder if you could be a bit more explicit about what TBN would consider patient-centered outcomes and what would not be considered patient-centered outcomes.
Okay, so sure. So we're interested in things that, for example, something that directly impacts a patient, but where we wouldn't be interested in a process measure. So let's say we're studying some intervention, and we only study the uptake of that intervention, but don't actually study the impact of that intervention on either patient-family satisfaction or length of stay or quality of life or mortality or anything else. So it's something that directly impacts a patient, and it's not just a more proximal process measure, which is the outcomes of some studies.
Okay, that's great. That's very clear.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions?
Okay, hi, it's Valderak. Quick question about original email, like initial email that we got saying that we got selected, mentioned that we will get a letter of intent of other investigators that are reasonably, like topic is reasonably close to ours as well, that those will be forwarded to us. However, I haven't received anything as of yet.
So those will be forthcoming. We just want to make sure that it's okay with the other investigators that they be.
Forward. Okay.
That's
Perfect.
right.
Thank you.
Although that was part of the original expectation, we just want to confirm for everybody to be sure.
Sure. Thank you.
Hi, Adam Rahman from Western University. As it relates to the actual face-to-face protocol development meeting in the first week of December, like I'm just trying to understand the process here. Do we basically, or do I as sort of the lead, arrange everybody to come to Toronto? Is there a set meeting place? Is there a preferred day? Or I'm just trying to figure that part out.
No, so TBN will help with the administration of the meeting. What we need for you to identify is the expected participants, get them to agree to come to the meeting or whatever, and we can arrange with the logistics. We can help out with the logistics of the meeting, and also if there's a reason why it can't happen during that week, that's fine too, as long as it's a reasonable timeline. And we realize that with all the commitments, and these are short timelines, but unfortunately we can't help that.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other comments or questions?
I'm not sure I caught what week that was that those meetings are going to happen. Was that the first week of December, did I hear?
We had originally planned on a week in December, the first week of December, but the timelines are fairly short, so we're flexible in regards to a date. So if it can't happen during that week, or if it can happen later on in the December, that would be fine too. We just need to know who you want to attend, who's going to be attending, the date, and the specifics, and we can work with you on that.
Also, it's a team-by-team meeting, not all 8 at once?
Yeah, no, it's a team-by-team meeting. Each team should meet together to develop its own proposal. We had originally thought that we were going to get all the teams that would come together all at once, but logistically, that's what we did with our first round. That may not work for this one. So we're going to be fairly flexible on that, recognizing the realities, so TBN can help out with the logistics of the meeting, but you as the project lead will be driving the bus in regards to identifying the people, the participants. Will help out. We'll let you know who some other partners or stakeholders that in our work that we've identified. You may have some other partners, stakeholders, knowledge users that you want to bring there. The more collaborative, the more the number of stakeholders, the broader the reach, the higher the rate of success is going to be on the next when it comes to the full proposal stage. Although saying this, if it goes through the whole process, the success rate is still going to be fairly good, but it is going to be a competitive process.
John, it's Fred Burge.
Yes, hi Fred.
Hi, so just a question about the scale of that face-to-face meeting, given the encouragement on the collaborations and stakeholders. Do you have a sense of, like, are you wanting us, I'm just trying to get a sense of whether this is like a half a dozen people, a dozen people, and I know it's very project dependent, but do you have any kind of sense of what you'd like to promote in the scale of that, and not wanting to extend invitations too big as well?
Well, yes, no, absolutely. It's always so. I think for these face-to-face meetings, there are going to be people that are going to be highly involved in formulating a proposal that's of wider scale. They're not going to be peripheral actors, but they should include knowledge users and stakeholders, and to be successful at the end of the day, at the end of the day, the wider scale, the more collaboration you have, and the more involvement we see of the knowledge users and stakeholders in developing the full proposal, the more successful it will be. It's not so it's not just necessary that you had a letter of support from X, Y, and Z organization. They haven't even seen the proposal, and they're as a collaborator. That's not really what we're looking for. And so I'm avoiding answering your question as to the number, as you may have noticed. But basically, what we want to see at the end of the day, if you can justify who you need to be there that will help you develop the full collaboration or full proposal, we're willing to entertain that. So it's going to be a bit of a work in progress between us and yourself as we go as to who the number of people that need to be there or should be there, recognizing that the more people you have there, the more expensive it is and the more logistically difficult it becomes. So it's that sort of taking
give and take.
What I'm trying to say. Yeah, give and take. Yes.
Who should we work with on that process at TBN?
So there will be either Perry Kim is going to be the major lead on this, and the other support people at TBN.
Thanks.
John?
Yes.
Hi, it's Paul. Two things. I may or may not have seen it, but have you shared our letters of intent with one another? I guess that's my first question. The second is that is there any plan or mechanism by which we can work, even at this stage, collaboratively? Like if our topics overlap, if, for example, we're doing a topic on quality indicators and someone else is, for example, would it not be worthwhile at least that we try to see if we want to work together or not?
Sure. So the letters of intent have not been shared yet. We want to get everybody's okay to share them, and we will share them in the next couple of days. So there really isn't a lot of, well, there is some overlap between the expressions of interest that we selected. And if you wanted to work together on a bigger proposal in two areas, that would be fine with us. So, for example, if there was quality of care indicators out in the community, and I'm just speaking off the top of my head here, and this is not applicable, but if there was quality of care indicators out in the community and quality of care indicators in acute care, and you wanted to work together to sort of go through the whole spectrum, that certainly would be of interest to us.
Yeah, that's where I was going, so that's perfect. So we will see the letters of intent, assuming we all agree.
Yes.
And then we can, it's okay to reach out to potential, partners.
Absolutely. The more so what we want to see, and the reason for doing the grants in this manner was that through our funding competitions, we tended to see very narrow spectrum letters with some partnerships as the same as what would be submitted through to CIHR and CIRC or some of the other funding agencies. But this is a much more collaborative, much more integrated knowledge translation approach. So the more broader scale, the more collaboration you have from the ground up, the more the proposals will be of interest to us. And particularly what we're interested in is larger scale transformative type projects that can go into our renewal application, which will be fairly significant funds. So I recognize here that we're going to fund 4 projects of 4 to 5 projects in our $2.5 million range, and that's significant amount of money. But on the scheme of things, it's not a huge amount of money. But in our renewal application, we can put in for things that are going to be of high impact, which have a big that have big collaborations, we can put in for much larger scale funding to actually make an impact for the longer term, which is what we need to be successful.
Perfect. Thank you, John.
Thank you. Any other questions or?
Hi, John. It's Andrew here.
Yes, hi.
You mentioned some tips for success, and I just wanted to clarify. You mentioned the involvement of knowledge users, and you said including patients and families.
Yes.
Does that mean it must include patients or families, or that they are examples of knowledge users?
No, they must include patients and families. You must have some contact with patients or families to be successful. How you actually do it, that's up to you. But they can't be just that you pick somebody off the. And I'm not saying you. Just talking off the top of my head. You pick somebody and you just identify them. The things that we're most interested on is that knowledge patients or families are involved. They either come to the protocol development meeting or they've been part of some part of the project, so that they're really truly integrated at the end of the day, such that these proposals actually reflect what's important to patients or families to the extent that it is possible within these timelines.
Thanks, John. That's great.
Any other questions or comments?
Hi, John. This is Denise Kluche from Victoria.
Yes, hi.
I'm just wondering if the TBN website will continue to reflect some of these process issues and the range of information that we need to put everything together, in addition to what you've provided here in this meeting.
You mean information for the full protocol, you mean?
Yes, and also just the deadline. I mean, we've been taking notes frantically, and I know you've said you'll indicate or you'll provide a transcript of the meeting, but we tend to use the website as the current source of information for our needs and the deadlines as well. And I just wondered if the TBN website will be continually updated in the next little while.
Yes, it will be. We're actually in the midst of redesigning the TBN website, but this whole presentation plus the whole audio, everything that's been said on this presentation will be available on the website. There will be full instructions for the protocol. Those are also going to be posted. And if you have any questions, we're very readily available. So please call us or send us an email, and whatever we can do to help out in this process, we're more than happy to do.
Excellent. Thank you.
I had, sorry, Adam Rahman again from Western. I had one question about the budget. I mean, obviously, with the degree of collaboration that we're, that you guys are wanting, and like, how much variability is there in sort of the number we ask for on the expression of interest and the final protocol?
So the budget, the maximum budget for these is going to be $600,000 for each proposal for over 18 months to 2 years.
Okay. So the number that we put, so the budget estimate for that we put in as part of the expression of interest and the initial application doesn't really apply. Is that fair to say? Or I just want to be clear on that point.
No, that does not. That was just an estimate, and
okay.
And obviously, when you put in the full proposal, you're going to justify why you're requesting whatever amount you're requesting is. But as long as you stay within the budget limit.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay. Any other questions at all? Okay, well, as I said before, my email is on the slide. We can you can also contact us if there's any other questions or anything else. Please let us know as soon as we'll post this presentation plus the audio recordings online, and look forward to working with you. Now, my last comment is that this is not the type of process for everybody, and we realize that. It's a very collaborative, very different type of research process or grant, and if it doesn't sound like that it's something that you wouldn't work on, or that it's not of interest, please let us know as soon as possible. We want to engage with the community to develop transformative projects or things of high impact, and this is one way of doing them. And I hope that this is going to be acceptable to everybody, and that you work with us, and look forward to working with you over the next while.
That's great. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you for coming on, taking time out of your schedule, so especially on the short notice, and I guess we'll be in touch.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye then.